Hello, thank you for joining us today at Half Century Trojans Salute Dr. Art Bartner. Our program will begin momentarily. Please note your audio and video have been muted, and this program is being recorded. Please join me in a warm welcome for USC's Associate Senior Vice President for Alumni Relations, Dr. Patrick Auerbach.
Thank you and good afternoon and welcome to Half Century Trojans Salute Dr. Arthur C. Bartner. I'm Patrick Auerbach, Associate Senior Vice President for Alumni Relations here at USC, and on behalf of more than 437,000 alumni around the world, it's wonderful to have you all here with us today, even if we are virtual. Like all of you or many of you, we miss our traditional way of gathering when we're in person on campus, which holds such a special place in all of our lives. Fortunately, we can still come together online to pay tribute to a USC icon who has brought us so much joy over the past 50 years. Joy and art are something we all need more of these days, which have been challenging to say the least. Yet, even in the midst of these unprecedented times, when everything is in such a constant state of flux, the Half Century Trojan community, which numbers nearly 20,000 strong out of all of our alumni, has remained steadfast in its support of USC and our Trojan family. Your dedicated efforts as Half Century Trojans to keep our community strong and keep our spirit alive inspire us to follow your lead. You are still fighting on, and we are deeply grateful for your lifelong loyalty to our beloved university. And now, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you this year's president of the Half Century Trojans Board of Directors, my friend and alumna, Janet Tonkovich. Janet.
Thank you, Patrick. And hello, Half Century Trojans. I never imagined that I'd be welcoming you to this event from my home. But as the saying goes, necessity is the mother of invention. And I don't know about you, but I've certainly gotten a lot more tech savvy over the past several months, which reminds me, please keep your Zoom audio on mute during our program today, unless otherwise directed. In the fall, we recognize the achievements and service of fellow Half Century Trojans at our annual Hall of Fame luncheon. This year, we are thrilled to recognize an honorary alumnus who has made an indelible impact on USC. A distinguished conductor and music educator, Dr. Art Bartner arrived at USC from Michigan 50 years ago in 1970. At that time, the USC Marching Band was a shadow of its current self. In fact, it was so quiet and underwhelming that many people dismissed it as the library band. That all changed, however, since once Dr. Bartner took up the baton. Under his masterly direction, the library band gradually transformed into the Spirit of Troy, a musical powerhouse and loved around the world. Over the last half century, the greatest marching band in the universe has performed at the Olympic Games, the Academy Awards, and the Grammys, appeared in more than 125 movies and television shows, recorded 2 platinum albums with the supergroup Fleetwood Mac, and raised our spirits at USC football games here and across the country. That's just a few of the highlights from Dr. Bartner's extraordinary career at USC. He has also made the band more diverse and inclusive. Thanks to Dr. Bartner, women were finally allowed to join the band beginning in 1972. And over the decades, Dr. Bartner has made a positive, often transformative difference in the lives of hundreds of Spirit of Troy band members. He has inspired them to be disciplined, to work hard, both on their own and as part of the team, and to always strive to do their best. It is now my privilege to turn it over to the one and only man on the ladder, Dr. Art Bartner.
Thank you, Janet, it's great to be here, everybody. First, the Lakers won the championship. Last night, the Dodgers won the championship. It is now time for the Trojans to win the championship. So I'm all fired up. Thank you for inviting me this afternoon to talk about 5 decades of landmark football games and the band's reaction. So here we go down memory lane. I take you back to 1970, my first season. This, as you can see, this is Marv Gu on my left, who is, who became my mentor. He took me under his wing and taught me how to be a Trojan. Len Swan on the right was a freshman at the time, and he started the band tradition with our team to grab a sword, go up on the ladder, and conduct conquest. So if you remember this game that I would like to talk about, this is the last game of the season. This is the Trojan versus Notre Dame. That's Joe Theismann, the All-American quarterback for Notre Dame that broke the passing record that's still held today. He passed for over 500 yards. We had a very average football team. We were 5-4-1. Coach McKay was not too happy with this team. But on this day, when it rained for the entire game, the Trojans forced 4 turnovers, and we won the game 38-28 and kept Notre Dame from an undefeated season. Now, the highlight for the band was a composer by the name of Henry Mancini. And this was actually the first guest artist under my regime as band director. Henry came out in the rain and conducted 4 or 5 of his hit tunes: Peter Gunn, Moon River, Pinball Wizard, and this halftime show became part of his television show, and we got national visibility. The next game is one that I think everybody will remember because this is the great comeback game, and it starred no other than Anthony Davis. The Trojans were behind 24-6 at halftime. Anthony Davis ran the opening kickoff back 102 yards. Pat Ayton took over from there and threw touchdown passes to J.K. McKay, Sheldon Diggs, and the Trojans won this game 55-24. Here are some of the highlights.
Tom Kelly with you at intermission here at the Coliseum, where about 80-some thousand have sat in kind of stunned disbelief. Not all of them, because a good many of the 80,000 are pulling for the Irish of Notre Dame. And they've had a happy first half, as Notre Dame has completely dominated this great collegiate rivalry, this edition of it, leading 24-6 here at the intermission. Notre Dame will kick off. All right, McLaughlin advances on the football. It's been an Irish afternoon as he boots it high and long and deep. In the end zone, Davis coming out at the 10, 15, 20, coming outside at the 30. He's at the 35, the 40. He's going all the way at the 30, the 25, 20. They won't catch him. Touchdown, USA. 100 yards and then some. Listen to this Coliseum roar. Hayden takes the snap to pitch to Davis. Sweeping right at the 5. He dives. He's in the end zone. Anthony Davis has scored again. Trojans with an opportunity to go in front for the first time. First and goal. The pitch to Davis. He's at the 5. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, USC. Clements back to pass. Sets up. Fires over the middle. It is intercepted. Takes off by Phillips at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, USC. It is unbelievable. Would you believe the score here at the Coliseum is USC 55, Notre Dame 24.
Well, I hope you were there for that game. It was definitely a game that nobody will ever forget. And as John McKay said, we scored so many touchdowns in 17 minutes, I think we almost killed the horse. Trevor looks pretty good in that picture. And for the band, if you're a Broadway fanatic, we featured 2 Broadway stars. We featured Robert Goulet, who played Sir Lancelot in Camelot, and Carroll Lawrence, who was the original Maria in West Side Story. And here is the band on Broadway in Times Square before the Syracuse game. So it took me back to my roots in New Jersey, and I got to perform on Broadway. Okay, the next coach is Coach John Robinson. He took over for John McKay in 1976. There's John and his wife Corky, John Robinson and his wife Linda, and to my left is a very young Barbara Bartner. She hasn't changed a bit. Okay, so this is now the 1980 Rose Bowl, and it featured Charlie White. Charlie White was just amazing. We're playing Ohio State, and towards the end of the fourth quarter, we're behind 16-10, and Charlie ran for 71 yards out of 83 and scored the winning touchdown. Here are the highlights.
SC missed another field goal try in the early fourth. Ohio State added one to make it 16-10. Then the Trojans made some history on one of the greatest drives in Rose Bowl lore. Heisman Trophy winner Charles White took the game over. First, a run of 32.
Charlie White, he's running like you could sing to this one. 40, tackled from behind at midfield.
Then a 28-yard gallop.
It's White again. 45, 40, 35, 30. He's all the way to the 22. Charles White is over the 200-yard mark today. Gentlemen, Charles White has set a new Rose Bowl record. 215 yards rushing.
Marcus Allen, who would get a Heisman of his own 2 years later, was the blocking fullback for White on this game. Pretty good backfield. He got 5. Then Charlie for 3, for 5, another 2.
White, touchdown!
Eric Hipp added the all-important extra point, and the Trojans won it 17-16, and White kept right on running all the way to the locker room.
Yes.
SC missed another field.
Okay, what a wonderful game. Now, this was a very monumental halftime show for the band because the summer of 1979, we recorded Tusk with Fleetwood Mac. And then during the fall, it became a huge hit, went to #1 in the polls. So this is the halftime show, the first time that we introduced Tusk to the Trojan fan base.
TUSK became TUSC, Tusk.
Wow, it's interesting looking at those old uniforms that the band had on. Anyway, now we have a new coach, Ted Toller, taking over for John in, I think it was 1982, 83. And he went to one Rose Bowl, and it featured two great All-American linebackers, Jack Del Rio and Dwayne Bickett. And we played Ohio State. They were ranked higher than we were, but the defense stepped up and forced 4 turnovers. We also had an All-American safety by the name of Tim McDonald. Anyway, here's some of the highlights from that Rose Bowl game.
Pasadena, California, the Big Ten champion Ohio State Buckeyes meet the champions of the Pacific 10, the Trojans of USC. One of the great days in America. 3rd down and long. Tom Zach in a crowd. Number 54, Neil Hope has the ball, and then he fumbles.
I think he lateraled that ball. Tom Zach, a good leader. Let's see what he can do here. He's gone.
Down he goes, and he fumbles, and USC has recovered.
Number 52, Jack Del Rio.
That is the end of the first half. The Buckeyes can celebrate 2 field goals, but looking at the scoreboard, they trail by 11 as they head to the locker at the intermission. First down at the 44 for the Buckeyes, and here comes Byers. Oh, look at that. There are 10 men on Byers and 1 standing. Oh, Tom Zach indeed goes to the air. Carter intercepted by USC's Tommy Haynes. Haynes at the 50 and tackled at the 48. 3rd and 5 at the Southern Cal 39-yard line. Tom Zach under a blitz, fumbles and recovers at the 47-yard line. Takes over. 3, 2, 1. It's USC 20, Ohio State 17.
A great defensive effort. Now, coming up is my favorite halftime show. Oh, but first, right in the middle is my daughter, Debbie. And she was a song girl, and it was a real family affair. It was, after the first rehearsal, she called my wife up and she said, your husband, he's a madman. He yells at everybody. I guess at home, my wife yelled at me, so she never saw that part of me. Anyway, coming up is the band's halftime show, which is one of my favorite shows. We had an inflatable Statue of Liberty, 12,000 red, white, and blue balloons, and the music of Aaron Copland. It looked like the Statue of Liberty had a little bit too much to drink, but yes, she finally made it up, and it was just a marvelous halftime show. Next, we move on to the Larry Smith era, and the star player was Rodney Peete. There he is on the ladder conducting conquest. And this game against UCLA was really one of the all-time classics. It was 1987, and Rodney made one of the great plays before halftime. He threw an interception at the UCLA goal line, and it would look like a sure touchdown for the Bruins, but Rodney ran 95 yards across the field, made a touchdown-saving tackle, and he gave the Trojans momentum at halftime, and they came back to win 17-13. Here are some of the highlights.
The Rose Bowl was on the line in the back-to-back seasons of 1987 and 1988, with the featured attraction being the quarterback duel of UCLA's Troy Aikman versus USC's Rodney Peete. In the 87 game, USC was down 10-0 near the end of the half, but were knocking on the end zone door.
They have a chance to make it close right at the end. Rodney Peete throws an interception.
Eric Turner picks off one, takes it all the way down, and Rodney Peete, slow as frozen syrup in the refrigerator, catches Eric Turner, and we can't score to get over that hump.
Although he threw an interception, Pete's tackle as time expired at the half kept USC in the game. In the second half, the Trojans roared back, and with 7 minutes left, they trailed 13-10 with the ball on the Bruins' 34-yard line.
I think they may be in the neutral zone there, but they got away with it. That's into the corner. Affolter! No! Yes! They call it touchdown.
Yes, it was a great catch by Eric Affolter in the corner of the end zone. Very controversial. They weren't sure if he hung onto the ball in bounds. But anyway, we'll take it, and we won the game 17-13. This next picture is of Larry Smith conducting the band at a jock rally with a sword. And this is very important to the band because Larry started what we call the streak. The band went to 415 games in a row, 23 states, 40 stadiums, over 370,000 miles. And unfortunately, this streak is going to be broken in a week from Saturday. But Larry, to his credit, said he would never go on the road again after he lost to Michigan State. He would never go on the road again without the Trojan Marching Band. Following Larry Smith, J.R. John Robinson returns as coach of the Trojans. And the star player is Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn was born and raised in the neighborhood surrounding USC. In fact, he was a water boy at a very young age, coming to all of the team's practices. Anyway, in the 1996 Rose Bowl, Keyshawn had 216 reception yards, and it was a Rose Bowl record, which stands today. So here are some of the highlights from the Rose Bowl against Northwestern, which the Trojans won 41-32.
The 50th Rose Bowl game matching the Big Ten and the Pac-10. The Southern California Trojans and the Northwestern Wildcats. They go to the shotgun. Pass from center was high. Otten's throw down the middle, good to Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson is down at the 15-yard line. 5 out of 6 6 on third down conversions. That ball was high, but Otten pulled it in all right. He's standing around a long time, finally gets some room and throws it, and it's good to Johnson.
Holmes will be playing next year.
Otten's pass down the middle, reaching behind, making the catch, Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson is the man in motion. Turns back into the middle of the field and makes the catch. And has a first down. And you score at halftime. Southern California 24, the Northwestern Wildcats 10. Johnson, he's out here. He's got the ball. Got a block from Parker. And Johnson, once he got past that first man, that's Johnson in motion. He's got it. He's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Trojans. And 10.
Will they come again?
Johnson has it. Keyshawn Johnson will get a mark inside the 30, and that's a first down. Otten to throw it. So the final seconds will tick away, and this game will go into the history books with a final score of Southern California 41, Northwestern 32.
I should mention that's Brad Otten, who was the quarterback who was throwing all those great passes to Keyshawn. Keyshawn won the most valuable player, and there he is holding the trophy. This next clip is after the game, and it's great because Lynn Swan, who's now a commentator for ABC, is trying to interview John Robinson, and all John Robinson wants to do is go and celebrate with the band. So this is an interesting, fun tape.
On behalf of our players, all our players and our fans, all Trojans, this is a great day, and we thank you very much. It was a great football game, and our guys deserved it.
Super. Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's go to the band.
Coach,
go to the band.
Coach, hold on a second. We've got to ask you a few more things here. A lot of people came into this ball game looking at the Trojans, you know, and as you said, coming into this ball game, just throwing the Trojans into the mix as father for the Northwestern team. This had to be the greatest game your team played for you this afternoon.
We knew all those things. We were definitely the straight men, but we're not now. This senior class has gone out champions, and that's a great deal for us. Let's go.
John, you come into a game, you're known as a running coach. You put the ball in the air. You said you wanted to be aggressive. You stayed with it through the entire afternoon.
Yeah, you know, we wanted to come out and take the initiative, maybe tire them out a little bit. They did a great job of coming back. This was a great football game, and we're proud of our people.
Coach, thank you.
Anyway, it was Lynn Swan finally let John and Keyshawn go, and we celebrated with the team, and we had the fans behind us. It was a great gathering of the Trojan family. So now we're finally nearing the end, and we get to the Pete Carroll Decade of Excellence. And you know, this team, I don't think they ever won less than 11 games. They were always 11-1, 11-2, and had 2 national championships, 4 Rose Bowl. There's a decade of greatness for the Trojans. And the game that I want to concentrate, there's Matt Leinart celebrating with the band after a Rose Bowl. And there, of course, is Reggie Bush. So the game I want to talk about is the one I feel is my favorite game of all time, and it's the Reggie Bush push back at South Bend, Indiana in 2005. And this is always Marv Goo's favorite game when the Trojans play the Irish. And with about a minute and a half to go. It was 4th and 9, and Matt Leinart hit Dwayne Jarrett for a long gain. And then Matt kept the ball, fumbled out of bounds, and the Notre Dame Irish felt that the game was over. But wait a minute, there was 7 seconds left. And then you'll see what happens. Run the tape.
The Trojans need 9 yards to keep that dream alive, at least for another minute and a half. Jarrett to the left, Smith and McCoy to the right. Bush is the tailback. Ryan Khalil the center, waiting for the call from Matt Leinart. Lines are set. Leinart changes at the line. Gets the snap, drops the pass, throws, looking for Jarrett. It's caught by Jarrett at the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Tackled from behind at the 15, maybe the 13-yard line.
Matt Leinart rolling to his left. He's going to tuck it under. He is stopped short. The clock's still running. Time runs out. The clock says 0. Notre Dame has won. Chaos. The ball was not moving forward. Therefore, the clock will start on the snap.
All right, 7 seconds on the clock, and Leinart will probably have to snap this thing and down it right away with 7 seconds to go. They're on the 1-yard line. Leinart could sneak it in for a score, but if he tries to score and doesn't, the Trojans will lose the game.
Charlie Weiss is at the hash marks walking off the field.
Well, he's trying to get a good look at the play. The ball is not out of bounds. The clock will stop as soon as the referee marks it ready for play with 7 seconds to go. Leinart will have to down this ball, spike it, or sneak it in for a touchdown.
Yeah, I say he spikes it that way. It gives him another
You're at the 1-yard line.
chance to make the right call.
Lines are set. Leinart sneaks towards the goal line. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, USC! With 3 seconds to go, the Trojans have scored. With 3 seconds left, he did not spike it. He went into the end zone. Matt Leinart has scored, and the Trojans will win the ball game.
Crazy. It's crazy. Whoever would have thought? And the band had a great spot. I mean, we're sitting in a corner of the end zone. We all knew that the ball went out of bounds, but nobody on the Notre Dame side knew or they care not to recognize the fact. Anyway, here's the celebration after the game. One of the great traditions. Again, team, band, fans, the Trojan family, cheering at home from their television sets. And there's Pete Carroll right in the middle of the fray, celebrating with his players. What a great memory. And now we get to the final game, the Clay Helton era. This is the 1917 Rose Bowl game, the Sam Darnold show. He had a great game. We were behind by 15 points going into the 4th quarter. And Sam got hot. He passed to Juju Smith-Schuster. He passed to Burnett. He brought the Trojans all the way back to a 49-49 after a great interception by the Trojans. And then you know what happened in the last couple of seconds. Run the tape.
Bartner puts it on a screen to set where. Plenty of room, dragged down. And 2nd and 1, play action fake, touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster. A whole bunch of folks off to the left. Quarterback in the shotgun takes it, rolls out, slips as he cuts, and now just flips it into the end zone to McNamara for the 2-point conversion. Trojans 6 of 12 on 3rd down. Darnold pressure immediately, throws it dangerously over the middle, and Smith-Schuster off the carom. Trojans finally over 100 yards rushing, but it's taken a long time to get there. Darnold now loops it for Smith-Schuster. Terrific catch, but he's out of bounds.
The receiver's right foot was inbounds when the ball was possessed. be first and goal at the 3-yard line.
Jones. Touchdown SC.
He's right here.
Arnold has a lot of time. Flies over the middle. Touchdown! Deontay Burnett with the hat trick. Incompletion here. The Lions will have to punt the ball away. Another downfield shot. Godwin. And it is intercepted this time by McQuay. Down the sidelines and knocked out. It is Matt Bormeister. Win it for the Trojans in a Rose Bowl Classic right here. It's good. USC wins it.
What exciting moments. I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane. And here's the last slide. This was at the band camp before the 2019 season. There's Clay presenting me with a 50-year jersey. I had a hard time getting it on, but this is a great moment for me and the band. And Caden Slovic, there he is, number 9 to my left, before he became our star quarterback. Anyway, thank you for inviting me to speak with you today. And I hope you've enjoyed these games as much as I have. And I wish our team great luck in this season coming up a week from Saturday. I predict that they're going to go 6-0, get into that championship, and have a great bowl game. So thank you, everybody, and fight on!
I came to USC in 1969, 1 year before Dr. Bartner became our band director. I came here from the West Point Band and signed up immediately for the Trojan Marching Band. In those days, we had about 50 people. And when we took the field, we could play pretty well, but when we took the field, we could only spell out a U. We didn't have enough people to spell USC, and that's the way we did it. Art came the next year, and he increased the size of the band from 50 to 350 strong, and now they can write out the whole Gettysburg Address in script. I want to say congratulations to 50 years for Dr. Arthur Bartner, the best band director in the entire world.
In 1970, I met Dr. Bartner in Idlewild. I'm going to say the band reminded me a lot of The Wizard of Oz. Dr. Bartner was Dorothy. A Eugene Pond, a tuba player, was the Good Witch. There was a baritone player, looked like a troglodyte, remained nameless, who was the Bad Witch. Learned from the band, we were the Munchkins. We were 66 males that should have been institutionalized. We were a lousy band, but we had a lot of fun.
In 1970, I joined the band with Art, became the drum section leader that year, and in 1971, I met Susie. I only met her because I lost an argument to Art that year to have this freeloader, Susie Kalin, removed from my drum section. About 13, 14 girls that year were chosen to be in his inaugural Women of Troy to help fill in the band where we had holes and opportunities to fill out the band on field. And unfortunately, one was assigned to my drum section. I show up at a sectional, and here she is strapped up with a tenor drum and expecting to play. Thank you, Bill Hamilton, for your support on that. Fast forward a year, and we're at the Cal Stadium, a hostile stadium, during halftime, playing a great tune in concert formation. Art reaches a fermata, starts to release the fermata, and what happens? The suspense is broken by a tenor drum that thumps through the break of that fermata, a solo in the stadium at Cal. Oh boy, I look down the line, pretty angry, and she knew she did it. She leans forward and looks back at me apologetically. And I'm telling you, it was the sweetest look on that face. Okay, so I couldn't stay angry. I was hooked. And all the sectionals after that were less acrimonious and far more friendly. A year later, we were married. on a Wednesday because we marched on Saturdays. And of course, our recessional was Conquest. And a year later after that, we had our son, Paul Jr., a great boy. And he joined the band in 1991 as trumpet. And he married a wonderful person, Tanya, a sax player, in 1999. So what a wonderful life we've had. 49-year journey, 3 kids, 8 grandkids, still growing. It's a wonderful, wonderful life. And yes, Susie and I are still fighting on all this time. Enjoy.
Art Bartner and I joined the band at the same time in 1970. After being drum major during my senior year, I needed to find a job, and Stanford offered to pay me for continuing to go to school. But I missed performing, so in my second year at grad school, I joined the Stanford band. On the last day of band camp, we were assigned our uniforms, which was a red jacket. That's it. But I got there late and had to take the last and largest jacket they had. Good old coat number 69. No, really, here it is. At the first game, I showed up wearing the jacket and a set of bright red wool pants and glittery moon boots, which I told everyone I'd stolen from SC, and they loved it. When it was time to take on USC in the LA Coliseum, no one gave a second thought to the guy wearing the funny pants and boots under his Stanford jacket. Pre-game went as usual, with the band running off the field toward the visiting crowd. But there was this one Stanford fool still out there on the field. I put my trombone down, threw off my Stanford hat, then the Stanford jacket, and revealed the full USC Trojan Marching Band uniform that I was wearing underneath. After showing my gratitude to Stanford and the band with a double-fisted salute, I scooped up my horn, clothes, and drove it hard back to the USC sideline, defecting from Stanford on national TV and in front of a packed Coliseum crowd. Then the Trojan Marching Band poured onto the field out of the Coliseum tunnel and completely shut the Stanford crowd up. It was a really fun day.
Hi, my name is Rick Nordine, and I'm a graduate of the Arthur C. Bartner School of Management. No, actually, my diploma says Marshall, but Art provided as much education in running an organization, building an organization, and collaborating with others as anyone in my career. I was one of his second band managers, and he gave me more responsibility at age 22 than the next manager did at age 32. Those are great experiences, and those are off-the-field experiences, which I was probably better at than trying to play tuba by all reports. Art, it's great to see you being honored by the Half Century Trojans. And it's a little shocking to me that I'm only a few years away from becoming a member of them, this group. So enjoy the event, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Fight on, everybody.
As the representative of the 1968 original squad of Songgirls and all the 50-plus years following, I want to thank you for embracing us, including us, and making us a part of a new Trojan tradition which is renowned worldwide to this day. How did we get so lucky to have you as our leader? It was fun, entertaining, and memorable. Thank you also for all the barriers you broke. Those will last a lifetime. Congratulations on your 50 years, and fight on.
Dr. Arthur C. Bartner. For me, the C stands for creative, courageous, and consistent. 50 years ago, I watched you take over a program that was average at best and transform it into the Spirit of Troy, the greatest marching band in the history of the universe. And through it all, you remained consistent for our student body, our administration, and the millions of fans who have enjoyed your courageous quest. Art, You are a blessing to the music industry, and we Trojans are proud to claim you as our own, and for me, a close personal friend, our very own Arthur C. Bartner. Thank you, Art, and bravo.
Dr. Bartner, on behalf of the current USC Songgirls and all of our alumni, we would like to congratulate you on celebrating your half century. Congratulations and fight on.
Hi, Art. I hope that you enjoyed the video as much as we all did once we got it going. I am honored to present to you a special award from Half Century Trojans, celebrating your outstanding 50 years of leadership of the Spirit of Troy. And we have our own Helen of Troy, who is going to be bringing that award to you. And I hope she's there with the award.
All right, I already have it.
Yeah, congratulations, Dr. Bartner, on your richly deserved award. And now everyone, please unmute your audio and join me in a cheer for Dr. Bartner. Okay, yay! All right, fight on. That's great. Thank you.
Fight on.
Wonderful. And okay, thank you to everyone for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves and look forward to seeing you at one of our upcoming virtual events. We have 3 programs coming up that we'd like to share with you. The first program is tomorrow, Thursday. Okay, there you go. Thursday, October 29th, election and R&D dialogues, election day preview. And on November 16th, we'll return for our second Half Century Trojans Zoom on with special guest, Patrick Auerbach, Associate Senior Vice President of Alumni Relations at USC. You'll recall Patrick joined us earlier in the program today. And the third is Sunday, December 6th. We have another Half Century Trojan Technology Workshop, Instagram 101. And these programs are not to be missed. Please visit the USC Alumni Association website to see what else is coming and where to sign on. And also, we have a USC Half Century Trojans Facebook page. So I hope you check that one out too. Finally, please help us continue our proud tradition of providing scholarship assistance to USC students who are direct descendants of Half Century Trojans. Since our scholarship program launched in 1998, we have helped more than 100 students realize their dream of earning a USC degree. And now we have a special performance by none other than, you guessed it, the Spirit of Troy.